All right, let's get right into it. We're diving deep today into the training of Chinese swimmer Zhanle as he gets ready for the World Short Course Championships. Now, if you follow swimming, short course is a totally different ballgame. 25-meter pool, turns are everything. Racing is so much more explosive. What's fascinating about Zhanle is his style. The guy is incredible when it comes to endurance. Famous for those come from behind wins in the second half of races, he's one of the only swimmers in the world who can consistently swim 100-meter freestyle under 47 seconds. That's elite. But here's where the strategy gets interesting. Some international commentators have said that Pan's physique might be a bit of a disadvantage in those first few meters of a short course race. They say he doesn't have that same explosiveness off the block as some of his competitors. His coach, Zhang is really addressing this head-on, with a training plan that's focused on refining Pan's technique, especially starts and turns. It's not about bulking up. It's about maximizing efficiency and turning what some might see as a weakness into a strength. And get this, the results are already impressive.
Pan has shaved off 0.2 seconds from his first 50-meter split. Now, you might think 0.2 seconds, that's nothing. But in elite swimming, where races are often won by hundredths of a second, that kind of improvement, it's huge. So how is Coach Zhang doing this? He calls his approach front-loaded, basically making sure Pan is maximizing his power and speed in the first half of the race, which hasn't always been his strong suit. They're focusing on two things: explosive starts and lightning-fast turns. Think about those turns. In a 25-meter pool, you're hitting the wall every few seconds. So if you can shave off even a fraction of a second off each turn, it adds up fast. Coach Zhang has Pan working on really precise movements. The angle of his body when he approaches the wall, the power of his underwater dolphin kicks, even when he pushes off for that next burst of speed. They're using underwater cameras, and even biomechanical sensors placed right on his body. These sensors are incredible. They give data on everything: muscle activation, joint angles, the force of his turns. It's like having a microscopic view of his every movement. So Coach Zhang can find areas to improve with incredible accuracy.
It's like they're building a perfect swimming machine. But it's not all technology and mechanics. It's also about Pan's dedication, his attention to detail. This guy is totally invested in squeezing every bit of potential out of every single movement. One of his teammates even said that after practice. Pan would stay in the pool for another hour, just practicing his breathing until it was perfect. That kind of dedication, that's what sets the greats apart. So now the question is, can Pan change his technique enough to really challenge those short course veterans? Will those tiny improvements be enough to get him to the top? That's what we all want to see. But for me, what's really interesting is the approach itself. This combination of high-tech and just pure hard work. It's pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible in swimming. It's like we're watching the future of the sport unfold right before our eyes. So we talked about those turns, how important they are in short course. But let's not forget about those starts. Coach Zhang's front-loaded strategy. It's not just about power off the blocks. It's about maximizing that power, but also staying in control, setting the pace for the whole race. Kind of like what elite cyclists do, breaking down each pedal stroke to get the most power. Coach Zhang's doing that with Pan swimming. High-tech tools, targeted exercises. They're doing plyometrics in Pan's Dryland training. Those exercises, they mimic the movements you need for a powerful start, building strength, neuromuscular coordination, so he can launch himself into the water with maximum force. But it's not all about brute strength. They're also working on Pan's reaction time, using equipment that simulates that starting signal, measures his response time down to the millisecond. This helps him anticipate that sound, react super fast, gaining those fractions of a second right from the start. And here's what's really cool. They're not just focusing on the physical part of the start. They're also working on the mental side, helping Pan develop that focus, blocking out distractions, channeling all his energy into that initial burst, like a finely tuned machine, right? Every part working together to achieve that maximum efficiency and power. But what really makes Pan special is his work ethic, his dedication to his sport. He's not just going through the motions. He's always looking for ways to be better, to get the most out of every single movement. And that brings us to the heart of it all. The question of how all this preparation will translate to success at the World Championships. Because let's be honest, the World Short Course Championships, it's intense. The competition is tough. There's not much room for error. Every little thing matters. All of this work leads to one big question. How will Pan do against the best in the world? These are swimmers who have dedicated their lives to this. They each have their own strengths and strategies. How will Pan adapt his training and his race plan to overcome those challenges? Because he will face challenges. Yeah, it's easy to get lost in all the numbers and the details, the times, the splits, all the tech stuff. But when it comes down to it, What really makes the difference at a competition like this, the World Short Course Championships, is something you can't really measure. Mental toughness. And everything I've seen about Zhanle tells me his mental game is just as strong as his physical abilities. He seems to have that focus, but also a calm, almost Zen-like approach to competition. I remember his coach, Zhanle, saying something like, "The connection between the first and second half is smoother. The overall rhythm control is excellent. And the combination of explosiveness and endurance has reached a new balance." And that tells me that Pan isn't just training his body. He's training his mind, too, to stay in the moment, to trust his technique, and to really let loose when it counts. And that's exactly what he'll need to do if he wants to reach that podium. Let's be real for a second. Pan's going up against some serious competition. These are swimmers who have been at the top of the short course world for a while. They've got the experience, the medals, and they're not going to give up their spots easily. But you know what? Pan thrives under pressure. He's shown us that time and time again. He can deliver when the stakes are high. And now with this focus on his technique, who knows what he can achieve? Remember those commentators who doubted him, wondered if his build would hold him back? Well, they might just be surprised. Because Pan isn't just relying on power anymore. He's added precision, efficiency, a whole new level of strategy. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Pan Zhanle's training, I'm left with a sense of excitement. It's not just about whether he wins or loses. It's about watching an athlete, pushing the limits of what's possible, combining talent with hard work and a strategic approach that's changing the sport. Keep your eyes on Pan Zhanle. This young swimmer is on an incredible journey, and this is just the beginning. The World Short Course Championships, just one chapter in a story that's going to be full of surprises. And I can't wait to see how it unfolds